What's up, everybody? I'm Greg Miller, and this is the Pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
It's good to be here with you, Greg.
It's good to be here, Colin. Colin, why are we excited for the Order 1886?
Alternate history.
That's right, and that's why we're so excited to have teamed up with PlayStation to show you theordergame.com. It's this website with all sorts of Easter eggs and explanations. Let's take a look. All right, Colin, so the big thing about the Order 1886 when we first found out about it is a little bit of like, what is this? What is the Order? What are they talking about doing all that? Obviously, the website starts there and starts talking about it, right?
Right.
What is the Order, Colin?
The Order is a centuries-old group of knights that basically protects humanity from these half-breed creatures.
Right, which going through this pinboard, as we're about to, it comes to light pretty quick that the big thing they're focusing on here, in fact, is the werewolf. That is like this half-breed creature.
Right, basically what I like about this story and one of the nice alternate history kind of split threads in the Order, I think, is the fact that there's a natural evolutionary split in humanity that creates the lichen-type half-breed or whatever.
Right.
That's going up against what you would normally see as a human as of 1886 in this storyline.
Yeah, and we're going to get into all that, obviously, about who the half-breeds are, but I just like the idea that I think the fact that the Knights of the Round Table never really went away. They didn't dissolve, right? They kind of faded into the background and kept fighting on humanity's half as the Order is a cool idea.
Right, and I think that, you know, the hallmark of any good alternate history, I mean, think about, you know, one of our favorites, Resistance, or one of my favorites anyway, about how Resistance has, it touches on the Tunguska event, which is something that really happened in Russia in the early 1900s, and then splits off from there. You always have to find that really good nugget of real history and which to split off to make good alternate history, and it's the Knights of the Round Table, the real Round Table, King Arthur, that they split off from, which I think is really cool because what's so interesting about that specifically is that there's not much in the way of proof that everything we know about the Round Table and King Arthur really happened. A lot of that is lore. And so it is like a nice little alternate history take on something that might already be kind of alternate
history. And what's cool about it with the alternate history angle, right, is the fact that not only do they take the Order, the Knights of the Round Table, they pull it into the Industrial Revolution. Right. They make a big part of like London, and that's what's cool about this website is it's merging history with all the different things here. Because here they're talking about Industrial Revolution, what it means, right? New opportunities. You can expand into art, science, society. But of course, down here, then it comes down to the fact that like they can actually use this for the first time. They can have new weapons, help give life to the idea of freely. That you could stop these creatures, right? That you could give them equal footing for the first time ever, if not pull ahead, get out and advance on these half breeds that are always after you.
Right, and this is one of the great angles, I think, of the Order specifically, is that the Industrial Revolution happens, in real time in the 19th century, but it's accelerated in the Order 1886 as well, so that by the time you get to 1886 in this particular timeline, this alternate history timeline, they already have Zeppelins, they have wireless radio communication, they have all these kinds of things. So it makes it necessary. Obviously, Tesla, a real person in the 19th century. It's characterized as them, like you said, having the strength to fight the half-breeds on an even playing field. But it seems natural within the 1880s in the real timeline. Like you look at a Zeppelin in the air in the Order 1886, and you're like, oh, I guess that fits there. But in reality, that's decades before the Zeppelin really existed.
We're digging through right now who are the Knights of the Order, obviously. We've talked about them before, the Round Table and all this stuff. What's interesting is Galahad and Percival, you start to look at this like, are these the original Knights? And it's no, right? Right down here they say, like, the Order uses the names of the original Knights as honorary titles, right? Which is interesting, because the whole shtick with the game, right, is the fact that it's possible, you'd think, that it's, possible that these people would have lived. They could possibly be that, right? Because are the Knights immortal? No, but they're using this thing called Blackwater that heals them, right? That's what is that all about?
And you see right here, I mean, this is one of the very first things we saw really from the Order was this vial, and it's really this black liquid that comes out of it is essential, this black water. It gives them longevity. It lets them fight these centuries-long battles with the lichen, with the half-breeds. But it doesn't necessarily give them immortality, otherwise the game wouldn't be very fun to play because you wouldn't be able to ever die in it, and so there would be no challenge. But apart from that, it allows the thread to be stretched from those maybe real, maybe not real Round Table days all the way to this 1886 alternate history time frame.
Yeah, and like what's interesting about the Blackwater itself is the fact that not only does it do all that, it actually gives it's used to explain, first off, the way they're able to heal, right? But then this thing Blacksight, right, where you're slowing down time, you have more time to shoot, right? Bullet time or whatever you want to call it in a video game.
And it's a very video gamey thing, right? I mean, the Blacksight and Blackwater are very video gamey things, but what is the video game without video gamey things?
And this is something interesting interesting too. I remember when they first showed the trailer you're watching over here on the right, they talked about, well, you're gonna fight monsters. I'm like, okay, great. And then when we started playing, we were running up against these rebels, right? Who it would look to be are calling themselves ravens, right? You see them there, they're out to protect it. It's interesting to know what their angle's gonna be, right? Why are these people out there trying to stop these guys who are out fighting monsters, right? That are trying to save the day.
And this is why I'm riveted, I think, by this game more than anything, is that there's a multi-layered conflict in the game. It's not about the Order, these kind of roguish upper class dudes fighting, again in the centuries-long battle with the werewolves, with the half-breeds. It's that these rebels don't think that these esteemed Order guys, and of course the government itself, are looking out for their best interests regardless. Maybe it's because we don't really know. I mean, maybe it's because they don't quite appreciate the severity of the problem, or maybe it's because they don't understand what these guys are doing and the lives, that they're risking.
I mean, right here, this is one of the most interesting ones, right? The half-breeds of the West End Riots. Obviously, West End Riots are a real thing. You figure the rebels are probably going to be instigating this or something in the game, but then you have it where the half-breeds there, were they doing something? And there's all these questions down here, right? Like, if there was an army at the East End of London in 1886, what became of it? I love the breadcrumbs that are here right now already for the alternate history of what are we going to get when we play this game on February 20th.
Absolutely, and this is riveting because these unanswered questions are going to be the thread through the game, I think, as you get from point A to point B, because we've only seen select parts of the game. We're really not sure how long the campaign is, so it's these, the gameplay is fun, and the gameplay I think is immersive, and the gunplay is really nice. But it's these questions and kind of answering the questions, kind of how we feel about Uncharted. Uncharted's really fun to play. It's a great game, but we like to get to the next cutscene so we know what's going on next.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to be special about the Order, with so much work going into the writing aspect of it. Certainly we see the production value there as well. So I like that the gameplay's there and they've been working on it for a long time and the game's pretty and all that kind of stuff. Man, the story is what I think is most intriguing about it.
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's theordergame.com. Of course, links are in the description. Go click on it. Check it out. There's tons of stuff to find. Also, check out that Anarchist blog. It's totally crazy. It's filmed like a vlog.
Of course, thank you to PlayStation for sponsoring this video.
Thank you for watching. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.